Over the last 3 years, I've made nearly 700 YouTube videos, amassing over 10,000 subscribers. And in this video, I'm going to go through the most important things that I've learned. The first thing has to be around taking action. I can remember back when I was thinking of starting my channel, I probably spent the best part of 6 months thinking of the best video idea, the best setup, the background behind me when I was recording, the camera I'd need to buy, the laptop I would need. One day I decided, right, I'm going to buy a laptop and I'm going to use the webcam to record the video. And in that space of 2 days, I took more action than I did in the previous 6 months, recorded my first video, got it up on YouTube. And from those 2 days, I learned more than anything I did in the 6 months before where I was thinking about things. Having a routine is the secret to success. Consistently uploading videos is the way that you really help to build an audience on YouTube. And something that will help you consistently upload videos is having a routine. So I'm just going to share what I do with my video creation. I work full time, but my routine in terms of making videos, I get up early in the morning. Before my workday starts, I do all of the graphics required for my videos before I even have breakfast in the morning. I also find pre-breakfast, before I've got a full stomach, I'm at my most productive. I must say, I do feel a little bit more lethargic after I've had a meal. So that first hour of the day after I wake up are just the most productive that I am throughout a day. I get the graphics done, I have some breakfast, have a shower, and still before I work, I get that first video recorded. And sometimes I might edit it during my lunch break or get it all edited before my workday starts. And having that routine in order to make videos is just so important because I can replicate that most days. I must admit, I'm fortunate enough where I work from home most days, but I can replicate that routine day on day to enable me to have success. And ultimately, there's more to that than just, getting up early in the morning and working, because that's not easy, right? But having a consistent routine that you follow day to day with YouTube integrated into that routine means that you're consistently outputting videos. And again, I go back to one of the most helpful things you can have for building an audience is consistently uploading videos, and having that routine will really help that. Now, if you're enjoying the video so far, I'd really appreciate it if you could leave me a like rating, subscribe to the Tom H Coaching channel down below. The whole idea of this channel is I want to give back. I want to give back the lessons that I've learned from nearly 700 videos on YouTube to anyone that's looking to start or is early on in their YouTube journey. So if you want to join me for the ride, subscribe down below. All right, back to the video. Growth on YouTube is compound interest. I don't know if any of you are into investing, but there's a concept of compound interest where at the beginning, progress is slow, steady and slow. And then eventually, once you have a lot of videos behind you, for example, in this case, it would be viewership and subscribers, right? It starts off slow, builds up slowly, and then it just takes off. Trust me, it's happened with my channel. Once more people start watching your videos, the YouTube algorithm will recommend that video to more people. The growth will compound and just be exponential. So my journey really, up until the first 200th video, most of my videos would get 100, 200 views, and it was probably a year where I was just steady. And then I hit, I don't know, it was around 2,000 subscribers for me. And then something just took off. Each of my videos from that point got around 1,000 views consistently. And it just kept skyrocketing from there. And the growth, as I always say, was a compound interest line where at the end, you amass all the effort in the beginning with no real reward, no one really watching you, and then everything takes off. And that's how YouTube works. And it's not just, a slow building case of a month or two. In some cases, it can genuinely be years. For me, it was around 18 months before I really started making any kind of money or saw any kind of real, viewership that I was happy with on my videos. That's just the journey you've got to go through. But understanding that the growth on YouTube is like compound interest, slow at the start and builds up towards, as you start making progress, that will help you keep faith in the process and stick to making videos ultimately when no one's really watching them. The hardest part is between your 10th and your 100th video. Now, my logic behind this, right? 0 to 10, you're so excited about starting this new YouTube channel. Ultimately, You don't really care how many views your videos get. You've probably set an expectation that they're not really going to be watched by that many people. And you're so engrossed in the learning process behind making YouTube videos and trying to make each one better than the last. You're kind of so fueled by your own excitement and motivation to get started that you'll get through those first 0 to 10 videos absolutely fine. The real struggle, I think, the hardest part is between your 10th video and the 100th, or essentially the point where you become monetized. Because between those two videos, you don't really have a reward point. You don't really have any real feedback in terms of what you're doing is right. And that's the point, ultimately, that is most YouTubers drop out basically during that time where they don't see any reward as quickly as they expect for the work that they're doing. And that really separates the YouTubers, the ones that quit and the ones that don't. And my advice in this part is just don't give up. Giving up is the only way in my mind that you fail in YouTube. If you just keep pumping out videos and trying to make each video better than the last, learning from your mistakes, analyzing your analytics, using the analytics to understand what works, what doesn't in your niche, this is exactly what you need to do to build a successful YouTube channel. And not giving up is essential to that. Buy the most expensive equipment that you can afford. I actually got this advice from another YouTuber named Jason Greystone. He's got a fantastic YouTube channel all around trading and how to find financial freedom, a model that I'm trying to follow for myself. But a piece of advice he gave me that really resonated and has sat with me throughout my YouTube career is buying the most expensive equipment that you can afford. It helps you in two ways. Number one, you have the best equipment that you can afford, right? So your videos are going to be the highest quality that your current financial position allows you to make, right? Number two, by investing a substantial portion of your own money, of course, making sure it's affordable, don't be stupid, but investing, as large a portion of your own money that you can into your YouTube channel means that you're going to have extra motivation to make videos and make sure that that YouTube channel is a success because you have skin in the game, right? You sacrifice your money for the, output or outcome of a good YouTube channel and potentially an income from a YouTube channel. So you're going to have extra motivation to work hard. There are going to be some mornings where you wake up and you think, oh God, the last thing I want to do is make a YouTube video here. But then in the back of your mind, you're going to be thinking, wow, I just spent 500 quid on a camera. That's going to completely go to waste unless I get up and make this YouTube video. And it'll be those kinds of decisions that you make on the days where you can't be bothered that buying the most expensive equipment you can afford will help you. Collating a set of reusable items. I find this super useful. So after 700 videos, I've essentially got an absolute huge catalog of graphics, reusable pictures of players, football players, because my channel's about football players, statistics, all of that is saved on my laptop so that the video creation process now, the graphics that I need to make for new videos have already got a really strong starting point. So at the start, when I first started creating YouTube videos, I'd have to create absolutely everything from scratch. But now a YouTube video probably takes a quarter of the time that it did previously because I've got the graphics 50% done already because they're already saved on my laptop elsewhere. And I just have to rework them for the next week of football, basically. And that would be one of the most useful pieces of advice I could pass on, is to save all of your work so that in every opportunity you have, you can reuse it. And essentially, as time goes on, you make more videos, you'll collate more graphics, and your video creation process will become much quicker and much easier in the future. So again, it's almost like the compound interest, basically. As time goes on, your views are steady, and then they shoot up. The same kind of happens with your video creation process and the time that it takes to make videos. So you've got, not only have you got the graphics, assembled on your graphics set or whatever, you've also just got your experience being behind camera. You get smoother. You don't necessarily need to use a script. It just gets easier to create videos as time goes along. And one thing that you can do to help yourself with that is collate that set of graphics. And just imagine, I went back to that time curve of views over time. The same happens with the time it takes to create videos. So at the start, it's kind of the opposite, basically. At the start, it takes ages to make every video because you don't have much experience. You want to make sure they're perfect. you haven't really got any graphics or edits that you can look upon and reuse. So it starts off, it takes really long. And then as you build up the graphics, it gets shorter. And you put that on a graph, you've got a graph essentially that goes like that between time it takes to make your YouTube videos and the amount of views you get from them. And it goes back to, I'm going to relate this to another point. It goes back to one of the points I made at the start. You've got to put in the work at the beginning with no real reward. And that 10th to 100th video where you're accumulating the graphics to reuse, gaining experience on camera, where ultimately you're not getting any real reward, that will absolutely pay off in the long term. You win some, you lose some. There was no other clever way I could think to title this point. But one thing I definitely have noticed in my time on YouTube is that some of the videos that I've spent the most time creating, trying to perfect the most, have been the ones that have flopped. And the videos that somehow have done the most views on my channel are the ones I've put the least effort in. I've probably recorded and uploaded within the space of an hour. My most popular video on my YouTube channel took me less than an hour to make, whereas I've spent upwards of a day, an entire day making a YouTube video for that channel, which in compared to other YouTubers, I'll admit isn't even that long, and they've done the worst views possible. They've done literally the least viewed video in the last 6 months for me is the one that took the most effort. So what you have to do is not be attached to views and outcomes of every single one of your videos. And it's not just views that are the arbiter of whether a video is good or not. Two things I would say actually are really important to know if it's a good video is how long people have watched it for in comparison to the length of the video, how many likes and how many comments it gets. For me, that trumps the total amount of views that you actually get. And ultimately, there's a difference between quantity of views and quality of views. On your YouTube channel, do you just want every video to go viral, people not really care about you or care about revisiting your channel? Or do you want every video to really resonate with people where they think, oh, wow, this creator's fantastic. I want to subscribe to them. I want to see every other video that they ever make. I'll leave a comment to say how good of a video it is. I'll take time to leave a like rating and I'll watch the whole thing. That's the feedback you really need to know what is a good video. It's not just necessarily views. And ultimately, some videos are going to do well, some videos aren't. And you've just got to ride that out and accept that that will happen. Set process-driven goals. The final piece of advice I'm going to give you is exactly what I mentioned on my first video, but I think it's really important. Setting goals in order to build a YouTube channel, for me, is absolutely everything to motivate me to do the work, right? But the goals that I set myself are not necessarily attached to an outcome. So you might think, I want to make £1,000 from YouTube in the next year. So come the end of 2025, I want to be making £1,000 a month from my YouTube channel. That's a great target to have. But what that goal doesn't give you is any knowledge of how you're going to get there. So for me, the goals that I most prefer on YouTube aren't really attached to an outcome. Although obviously having a vision and a vision of an outcome in your mind is helpful. It helps motivate you. The goals you should set should be attached to the work that you need to do. So rather than saying, I want to make £1,000 a month from YouTube, say over the next year, I want to make 100 videos and I want to go deep into the analytics of every video, understand what's making people click, what's making people click off, points in my videos where viewer retention drops, whatever. Analyze the videos to the nth degree and make a pledge to yourself that each of those 100 videos you make over the course of that year is going to be better than the last. Setting those process-driven goals has been essentially the key to me being successful on YouTube so far. And I wouldn't even say I'm massively successful, right? My 10,000 subscriber YouTube channel is small in comparison to a lot of other content creators, right? But I haven't set a goal to reach a certain number of subscribers. I'd like to have 1 million subscribers, but I set goals on a weekly basis. So I want to make 3 to 4 videos a week and do 2 to 3 live streams per week. And again, learning from each of the experiences of the previous videos and live streams, trying to make the next one better than the last. And that's really been the key to me growing the channel rather than just having those big arbitrary targets in the future. All right, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that and found it useful. If you did, please leave me a like rating on the video. Subscribe to the Tom H Coaching YouTube channel if you want to get more YouTuber tips from me. Send me an email. If you're interested in my coaching services, there's an email in the description. Send me an email and we'll see what I can do for you. Cheers.